Hello everybody, today I will be showing you how to use the Recalbox emulator. So I'm going to select the x86 64-bit. So this is for a 64-bit AMD or a Intel processor. So I will be downloading this onto my computer, and I will be copying this image with Etcher, which I will show you how to do. So right now it's just downloading. Okay, that's the Etcher program. You'll need that program, so you could download it. I'll leave that in the video descriptions. So now I'm going to locate the Recalbox image. Okay, that's where it is. Now I'm going to start Etcher, because I already have it installed on my computer. And I'm going to insert my USB drive. And you're going to see it pop out on that menu. So it's J drive. That's my USB drive that I want to use. It's full, but I don't really care. I want to get rid of it all, so it doesn't matter. So make sure you select the right USB drive. Okay, I'm going to select the image now. Okay. That's the Recalbox image I want to select, and now I'm going to select the flash drive. And it was in J drive. It's a 32 gigabyte version of SanDisk. So that's the flash drive I'm going to be writing to. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to complete. It may take maybe 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to fast forward. It's also going to verify, so it could take as long as 15 minutes for it to complete the entire process. So I'm going to fast forward so you don't have to look at all of this. Okay, it's almost done copying the image onto the USB drive. And after that, it's just going to verify that everything is okay, and that's it. So this is kind of like Retropie, except you can use it on a X32 or a X64 processor. That's typically any Intel or AMD based processor. Let's say a processor like a Ryzen processor or a AMD Athlon 64 processor, or a Intel a Core 2 Dual processor, or a Intel Core 2 Quad processor, or a Pentium 4 processor, or a first generation i3, i5, or i7 processor, something like that. So basically, you're using something that's like Retropie in a standard desktop computer with a CISC processor That CISC stands for Complex Instruction Set Computing. So the Raspberry Pi uses a RISC processor, so that's Reduced Instruction Set Computing. So it's using a different type of CPU architecture. So in this video I will be showing you how to install this onto a standard CISC processor, whether that be Intel or AMD. So it's basically gonna look like Retropie, but it's not Retropie. And I'm gonna be running it on a pretty fast computer, like a Dell XPS 9000 with a Xeon processor. So okay, now it's finished. It's just gonna be unmounting. Just remove it, and I'm gonna stick it in. Okay, now the next part of this video is plugging in the USB controller in your computer. So I'm plugging in this USB controller. This is a Logitech USB PlayStation 2 like controller, and put the USB Recalbox image into your computer and start the computer. Turn this light off. And I'm going to start my computer and go into the BIOS. So on this computer I have to press F2 to get into the BIOS. As you can see here, F2. Just press F2 repeatedly, but this is for my computer. For your computer it could be delete or something else. So now I have to select the boot device configuration. I already selected it here, but I'm going to show you. So I have to go to hardware disk boot priority. So on this motherboard you just press plus, the plus key, which you see right there, to make the changes. But for your motherboard it could be different. So I'm going to keep pressing plus until I see the SanDisk go up to the first drive, which is going to be the hard drive or USB drive that's going to be booted. So I press escape, I get out of here, and the first boot device is the optical drive. I always do that, and the next one will be the USB drive with the Recalbox on it. I press escape again, and then I'm going to save and exit. Save the configuration. Now I'm going to boot into Recalbox. Okay, the computer will now just boot right into Recalbox. Okay, now we get to this screen, and I just press. Okay, it's just booting into Recalbox now. When you do this the first time, it may take several minutes, anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, and it's going to take longer because your configuration settings are going to be written onto the USB image. So now it's loading. Okay, when you get to the screen, it's gonna give you an option to configure the controls. Okay, when you get to this, you're gonna get to this screen. So I'm just gonna press right here the number 2 button. I'm gonna press that. Now it's gonna detect my controller, and with my control pad, I'm gonna put up, down, left, right, and with the analog control, which is right there, up, left, down, and right. And A and B, I'm gonna say button 3 right here is A, button B is number 2, which you see right there. X, I'm going to put number 1, and Y number 4, and this is going to be start right here. Select, page up, just going to press this button for page up. Page down, I'm going to press that button. Left. Left is going to be this button right there. Right is going to be the one on the top. Left, L3 is going to be left on the bottom. R3 is going to be right on the bottom. And the hotkey, press anything, I'll just press this again. And to exit, go to OK and press number 2. And now I finish configuring my controls. So to get out of here, press start, which I said earlier. I have loaded games onto this, however, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to use a network to send my ROM files into this image, USB image. So I'm going to do that. So the host name is Recalbox, as you can see right there. It's all capitalized. When you go into your Windows computer, you put that in there to get into this Retrobox, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to show you that in the next screen on how to do that. As I showed you earlier, the host name for Retrobox, Recalbox is Recalbox. That is the name, and it's // Retrobox. Let me go there. // Recalbox. So now you see that share folder, and you go into the ROMs folder, and let's put some ROMs into this, into one of the emulators. There are so many different emulators here, like the ZX Spectrum, the Atari 2600, Atari 5200, Atari 7800. I think they even have an Amiga in here, an Amiga 600, Amiga 1200. Dreamcast, DOS even. Interesting. I wonder how you're going to play DOS games without a keyboard. But anyways, I'm going to put in some MOM-A ROMs in here. I already put some in here, but I'm going to put more in here. And I'm going to show you. me just pick one. Just I'll put Galaga. Put Gunsmoke in there as well. Ikari Warriors. Ikari Warriors 3. Alright, that's good. So I got some ROMs in here. So I'm going to go back into the Recalbox. So again, that is // Recalbox. All capitals. You just copy it here and paste it in Windows Explorer, and you can get to the Recalbox. So that's all you have to do. And now I'm going to go back to the emulator. Okay, now I transfer some of the files to this USB stick. So to get out, press start again. I'm gonna go into the MAMI emulator. So for me it's button 3, button 2. I think that's A or something. Okay, what I have to do now is I have to press start, go into options, and update list. So the button's going to be, I think, A or B to select this. Yes, I want to select that. Okay, good. The game I selected was Galaga. Let's try to play this. Doesn't work. All the games don't work for MAMI. Some do and some do not. Let's try Gunsmoke. Okay, that works. Galaga didn't work. So just to insert a coin, I think it's a select button to insert coins for the MAMI emulator. So I put in 5 quarters and then press start to start. I think it's A and B to shoot and throw bombs or whatever. Alright, good. Alright, it's working. Working pretty good. This is a fairly fast computer. This is a Dell XPS with a Xeon, I think it's I'm trying to remember. It's a Xeon W3690 processor or something. 3.3 gigahertz with hexa-cores, and the graphics card for this computer is a Geforce GTX 770 with 2 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, it's working. That's good. So if you want to get out of here, you have to press start and select at the same time. Or you could, well, start and select didn't work. So I guess I'll press escape. So if you're using a keyboard, you could press escape and get out of there. So I'm going to show you one more thing. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the main menu to do that. So for me, for the buttons that I selected, it's this button right here and number 3 to get back. So to get in here, I press number 2, and to get out, it's this button and this button. You could go back to the video and find out what that is. Okay, now let's see. I did load other ROMs in here. Okay, this does come with Doom. I guess that's a PC game. I'm gonna start that. It does work. This is the original Doom game for DOS. Okay, I press start. Press A and well, let's try it out. Seems to work. This game runs good with a mouse and a keyboard. It's not very good with a joystick. Okay, that's enough. Okay, this works. I'm gonna try this game. I wonder if this would work. Doesn't work. Why did you even put that game in there if it doesn't work? How dumb. Okay, for a lot of the emulators, they do come with some games. So I'm gonna try running this game. Whatever this is, 4K. Some kind of Pong-like game. Alright. Okay, it's working. And again, to get out, escape. I don't know what control configuration it is with the control pad, but I know that if you press escape, you can get out. Okay, I'm gonna go into the Nintendo emulators. I put some games in here earlier. Oh, I did forget something. I was gonna show you something. Something called Scraper. There it is. Okay, now I'm gonna go to Scrape Now. Go there. Only missing images. I don't want to do all of them because you're gonna be doing them, and then you don't want to start all over and do them all over again. That will take too much damn time. Okay, now I'm gonna start Scrape Now. Scrape Now. Let's start. So scraping is when images are added to games, kind of like box art, and how the game looks like in terms of graphics. He's playing the song of Tetris. Pretty good. One of the advantages of using this versus using a standalone emulators is that all the emulators are on here, you know. So all you have to do is load on the RAMs, and then you could just play it. So if you have a faster USB drive, let's say like a USB 3.0 drive with 256 megabytes of storage space, gigabytes, I'm sorry, not megabytes, 128 gigabytes to 256 gigabytes of space, then you could pretty much put every game on there. Now it's playing Mario's song. Okay, it's almost done. It's 100 out of 117. 105, 106 out of 117. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now I'm just gonna go back and press start to get out of there. I'm gonna go into the NES, no, the MAMI. See what we got. As you can see, the box art is pretty good. It's 1943, 1942. And some of the games don't work, like Starblade. And this happens even with the standalone MAMI emulator. It doesn't work either. I'm gonna try Ninja War. It's my favorite game. Okay. Quarters is select, and start is to start, of course. So I could use this a Recalbox thing on any computer, you know. It's like a computer on a USB stick, basically. Okay, it works. Great. Alright, that's enough. I'm gonna escape out of that. Okay, it works. This Apple emulator is far from perfect. I couldn't get any games to run on this freaking thing. It doesn't matter. I would just run it on a computer anyways. Let me try some other game. Try Bionic Commando. Yeah, it works. Okay, I'm gonna exit out of here. Okay, and I'm gonna show you something else. This thing has Cody Media Center as well. You could watch this you could use this to watch movies and television shows, even YouTube and anything else. But today's tutorial is not about that. I'm just showing you. I'm just going to turn this off. You just turn it off to go back to the main menu. I turned the whole thing off. Damn it. Just gonna have to turn the whole computer back on and let it boot back into Recalbox. Okay, going there. Should just start right up. Okay. Sound settings. You can set the volume. It's too damn loud. Okay, that's fine. You could turn the music off. Now the music's off. Turn it back on. Okay, last thing. We have updates here. You could update your Recalbox, but I'm not going to do that. This is what it's about. Okay. Just press down to read it. Okay, good. So now I'm just gonna find out what this is. Clock menu. Theme. Alright, I think that's it. Let me go back to Mammy. Yeah, I like this emulator, you know. You don't have to like install anything on your computer. You could just have this USB flash drive and just stick it into any computer, just boot into it and have all the games in there, you know. Which I think is pretty awesome. Okay, that's it. I think that's enough play here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do. I'm going to exit this menu. Start. I'm going to quit. So either you could restart the computer to take the USB drive out, you know, to have your computer boot like normal. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to restart it. Go back to the BIOS and set everything up like how it was. So I could just use my computer. If you selected shutdown, it would just shut down your whole computer. And that's not what I want to do. I just want to redo everything. So F2 to get into the BIOS. And change the boot setting back to normal. It's not that. Hard drive boot priority. I forgot which drive it was. So I'm just going to play around with it until I figure it out. So now it's not going to be booting into that Recalbox. I want it to boot into my Windows 10 operating system. Okay, good. That was the right drive that I selected. Well, that's good. So that's how you set up and use the Recalbox emulator or emulators. Okay.